Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. If you are joining me for the first time, my name is Alison from Align with Alison. I am a dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with women to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. Last week, I told you that last week's session, that'll be the last time that we're there in the morning together, and I'd be transitioning to a 6 p.m. Eastern hour. However, I actually have 2 more weeks with you. I have this Wednesday and I have next Wednesday in this 9 a.m. Eastern hour. And then I guess that'd be April 3rd, April 4th is when we'll be transitioning to our weekly live Q&A. So even if you're not brand new, but maybe you're new this week, you may not be aware of the format. So every Tuesday in my stories, I post an opportunity for folks to ask a dating or relationship question. And then I go live the next day, today on Wednesday, where I then answer that question 100% anonymously. So don't be afraid. Don't feel as though you cannot share, you cannot ask. I am here to support you. Feel free to every Tuesday go into my stories, write down whatever question you may have. And then I come live on Wednesdays now. It'll be transitioning in 2 weeks to 6 p.m. But for right now, it is still in the 9 a.m. hour. We'll be, I don't know about next Wednesday because next Wednesday me and the husband is going on a trip, but it will be on the Wednesday. And then moving forward, it will be in the 6 p.m. hour, but we'll still do the same thing. Put in the stories on Tuesday, go live on Wednesday to answer your questions anonymously. If there is time left on the live stream, then you can go ahead and drop the question that you may have. Again, I will answer it anonymously in the bubble at the bottom of your screen with the question mark. So let's first start welcoming people to the live stream. Welcome, Marlon. Welcome, Navasha. Don't kill me if I mess up your name. Welcome, Jappy. I don't know if that's like happy with a J. Lily, thank you for joining as usual, always supporting. Coop Jr., thank you for joining. Jabba Black, my lovely husband, thank you for joining as usual. Coach Joseph Kemp, amazing coach. Thank you for joining and always supporting. Shu got, don't kill me. Welcome, Shu. Welcome, Nuke Podcast, always showing love and appreciation. Married at Mommy, always showing love and appreciation. I thank you for that. Welcome, Catherine. Welcome. The best is yet to come. Absolutely. And it's coming fast. Okay. Pause. But it'll be here. It'll be here soon. So welcome anyone who is joining the live stream. Welcome anyone who's going to catch the live stream after the fact. That's love too. And welcome anyone who is brand new to my platform. If you are new to the platform, I would love to welcome you to the land of love. Please drop your name and your location so that we can formally welcome you to this amazing place that I like to call the land of love. Okay. Greetings. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Good morning, Mark. Welcome to the live stream. I don't know if this has been your first time, but welcome. Kim, welcome. We're going to jump right into this live Q&A. Again, as you guys may or may not know, every Tuesday I put in my stories an opportunity for folks to ask questions anonymously in regards to dating and relationship. And then on the Wednesday morning for now, soon we'll be transitioning to 6 p.m. Eastern, answer those questions anonymously. And again, if there is time left in the broadcast, you can go ahead and drop your question at the bottom. Well, on my screen, it's like right here at the bottom. There's a bubble with a question mark. Go ahead and put it in the queue, and I'll try to address as many of those as possible. But I do promise I will answer every single question that I receive through the stories that are posted on Tuesdays. Welcome, Nat. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So someone asked where or how to meet people during a pandemic. Where or how to meet people during a pandemic. So characters are limited. We know what he or she means, okay? Where or how do you meet people during a pandemic? Cool. So the way that you can meet someone during a pandemic, and the good news is that the pandemic is actually lightening a bit, at least for most of the cities across the country, in this country, is simply using dating apps. And I actually have a post where I go into detail about how to effectively, and a video, how to effectively create the most optimized, the best dating profile that you can in order to attract the right mates and repel the wrong ones, right? So the most practical way that you can meet people, even though thank God the numbers are decreasing. We have folks who are choosing to take the vaccine, so we feel a little bit safer. We're going out a little bit more. The way that you meet people, the most practical way, and this is pre-COVID, would be through dating apps. I know a lot of people are hesitant about dating apps. I know. And I get it, but I don't get it. And this is why I say I get it and I don't get it. I understand that some folks have had some negative experiences with dating apps. But I would challenge you to say that I'm confident those same people have had negative experience with meeting someone on the train or getting coffee or going to a coffee shop, right? Like, we have not only exclusively dated people from apps, we've dated people that we've met, quote unquote, organically. We've dated people who were our friend's cousin that hooked us up or somebody else's kind of connection. So this ideology that dating apps are so terrible because you meet all these folks who are dishonest, aren't forthcoming, so on and so forth, as if your dating experience where you met folks organically was just amazing and everything worked out. Clearly it didn't work out. Clearly it didn't work out, or you wouldn't be still looking for someone else. So I understand that some folks are hesitant about dating apps. I get it. There are things that you can do to safeguard yourself around meeting, quote unquote, people who aren't forthcoming. For instance, when you match someone on a dating app, you should be having conversations through the app. Once you feel comfortable, you should be transitioning to phone calls. Phone calls. Now, I don't like to talk on the phone. Oh, well. Phone calls are going to give you insight to their inflection, their tone of voice, their level of sarcasm, if that's problematic for you. But more importantly than not, what a phone call is going to do is going to give you some insight, because nothing is 100%. It's going to give you some level of insight as to their surroundings. If they only call you when they are on the car, or in the car, or on the bus, or on the train, they never call you when they're in the house, questionable, right? If they call you when they're in the house and you hear a baby crying and he never said he had a baby, questionable. If you call someone and you hear them saying and calling out the person you're talking to, their name, and they sound like a mom, but they never said that they live with their mom, questionable. If it sounds like, baby, what you want to eat for dinner, big questionable. So there are things that you can do to safeguard yourself so that you are, in essence, vetting people to be sure that they are, as sure as you can be, that they are a good match for you. So we're not going from talking on the app to going out on a date. We're not doing that. Stop skipping the steps. Stop trying to eliminate the process, and then you're mad when you're unhappy with the final result. Everything requires a process. Everything has steps. If you skip the steps, then you are going to be unsuccessful. And that's in everything. So you have to take the appropriate steps. You go from talking on the app to talking on the phone, actual phone calls, not only text messages, not only voice notes. From phone calls, you should transition to FaceTime or video chat, whatever it may be. And there's some dating apps that have the video chat built right in. You should know what this person looks like before you go out with them. Because then you'll say, oh, Alison, I don't like to date people on dating apps because they never look like what they look like on the app. Well, did you do a video chat? No. Well, you rushed the process. Why would you go out with someone with all the technology that exists on earth without making an effort to vet them? Vet them. Do you know how many reviews I read on Wayfair before I buy a $100 item? Do you know how many times I ask my friends about what brand of this should I buy, or what hairstylist have they gone to, or where did you get your nails done, because I want that level of service or I want that level of product? You don't vet human beings that you could potentially be living your life with, that you could be having children with, that you could be building a legacy and property and investments. You're not vetting these people. You're going from a dating app to reality, face to face, without any of the appropriate steps. And then you're mad when things fall apart and it's the dating app's fault. It's the dating app's fault. I have had women who I've had either discovery calls with because they're interested in joining my program, or just DMs, casual DMs, who have said to me verbatim that they don't want to date, they just want to get married. They have said to me that they do not want to date, they just want to get married. This is not 90 Day Fiance. And if you want 90 Day Fiance, that's okay. You apply. I don't know where it's on A&E or whatever, one of those cable channels. Apply, see if you get on, and good luck to you, or Married at First Sight, or any one of those. In reality, not reality TV that we know is fake. In reality, it is in your best interest to vet people. And dating is vetting with fun, hopefully, right? It's fun job interviews. You're getting to know people. You're getting to see whether or not they are an appropriate match for you. You are seeing whether or not you like each other. You are seeing whether or not you can get along with each other. You're seeing if you have common interests. You're seeing that if you're sexually interested in each other, because obviously, if this person's going to be a lifelong partner, potentially a wife or a husband, then you would want to know whether or not that chemistry is there. You have to go through the process. And you think that just skipping steps is going to get you to where you want to go faster. It may. And then when things fall apart, again, it's the app's fault. No accountability whatsoever. We're not going to take responsibility for the fact that we rushed it. We're not going to take responsibility for the fact that we've allowed societal pressures to get us where we are, which I am guilty of. This is no judgment to everybody else, right? I'm talking in generalities, which include me. So we have to be mindful. Take the appropriate steps. You're going to go from connecting on the app, talking on the app. If you are pleased with the interaction, you then transition to phone calls, not only text messages, not only voice notes. Phone calls, hear the surroundings. Be mindful of the sounds that are going on around you. Be mindful of the times that they're only available to talk. These are things that we need to be mindful of. From there, you're going to a FaceTime. You're not showing up on a date and then disappointed that the person doesn't look the way that they look. You did that to yourself. We have to start taking more accountability for our lives and not blaming everyone else for everything else that goes wrong. Because as long as you blame everything, like the dating apps, or everyone else, then you're never going to be able to break the cycle, the dating and relationship cycle that you're currently in. As long as you don't take accountability for your stuff, things are going to be problematic for you in life. You blame the supervisor, and then you blame your colleagues, and then you blame the college because they didn't send out your transcript in time, even though you waited to the last day to request it. And then you blame the resort, but yet you didn't do the research to find out whether or not they allowed you off the resort during COVID. And now you're mad. It's always everybody else. This is a culture in America. It's not only just me or you. This is the culture of it's everybody else's fault. The customer is always right. No, that's not true. The customer is not always right. Sometimes the customer is wrong. Sometimes the customer didn't read. Sometimes the customer didn't research. Sometimes the customer didn't vet. Sometimes human beings make mistakes. We don't take accountability, and then we end up in the same cycle over and over again. So to go back to the original question at hand, which is how do you meet people during a pandemic? Very easily, dating apps. Google and find the most appropriate app for you. Find the app that's a good match that was made for you. What do I mean by that? I'm a 34-year-old Black woman in New York City. So I am not going to necessarily choose an app that doesn't have a significant amount of people from the tri-state area. I'm not going to choose an app that's targeted for younger people. I'm not going to choose an app that's targeted for older people. Do your diligence. It's not the app that doesn't work. It's your lazy ass who doesn't want to do the research and put in the effort to find the partner that you deserve. That's who it is. And that's what it boils down to. Yes, Lily, we have to take accountability, get fit with Tiff, and the length of the text message, that's also a red flag. Yes, absolutely. And if it's only good morning or what's the other one that people hate so much? WYA, where you at? Like, we need to be mindful of these things. We don't take accountability. We end up in the same cycles, and it's the app's fault, and it's my boss's fault, and it's my coworker's fault, and it's the FDA's fault for why I'm gaining all this weight. Like, it's the gym's fault. It's everybody else's fault except for you because you didn't do your due diligence and now it's everybody else. Come on, man. You're going to end up in the same cycles over and over again and you're never going to be happy with whatever it may be, right? We're not even talking about dating and relationships. Whatever it is, vet it. And we're going to talk about vetting in a second too, about something else. Okay? Next question. Does long distance work? What are your recommendations? What if you move a lot? And guys, please feel free to give me feedback. Let me know your thoughts as well. Even though, and I am not a relationship guru, we need to start changing this language, right? I'm a dating and relationship coach. Nobody here is a guru, and let's stop willy-nilly using the word expert too, okay? So I have my advice based on my training and my experience, but I'm sure that you guys have valuable advice. So if you have any thoughts about what I'm reading, the question that's being asked, please feel free to throw it in the chat and I will try my best to read everyone's comments. Does long distance work? What are your recommendations? What if you move a lot? Okay, so long distance can work for those who want to work it. Anything can work if both parties or all parties involved want to make it work. Is it the most desirable situation? No. Does it have a high failure rate? Yes. Is it possible is the question, right? Could it work? Yes, it could work. Does it normally work? I don't think so. I think it really does also depend on the circumstances. So if we have a circumstance where there is a hard and fast end date, right? So there's a couple who's dating, and let's say the guy is in the military or something like that, and he will be back on base. I don't know military stuff. Don't kill me. In 2 years, 18 months, right? I don't know how long this stuff works, right? So he's going to be an active duty, I guess, for 18 months, and he will be back, or she will be back. I think it can definitely work because there's a hard and fast end date. And after that point, you can move on with your lives. But if there's no hard and fast end date as to when this period of time with travel and we'll be apart and all that kind of stuff is happening, then I think it is extremely difficult and impractical. Extremely difficult and impractical. But if there is a solid plan in place, I am doing a 1-year student exchange. I'm going to be studying religion in Israel. I will be back December 2022. If there's a hard and fast date, I think it's more practical because then you can plan around it and it's just an issue of holding on, right? But if there's no hard and fast plan as to what are we doing after you've traveled, when is it going to be over, and what are we going to do thereafter, then I think it's problematic. And I also think it's problematic if there's no skin in the game. So you're my boyfriend, I'm your girlfriend, you're traveling the world, you're doing whatever, and there's no investment on your part to show me that this is worthwhile waiting around, then good luck, Chuck. Like, I need to know that there's an investment. Like, if I'm quote unquote taking the L and staying here while you travel and have a good old time, or you're working and whatever, yes, you might be establishing a life for us, let's say like for the military, but you're also establishing a life for yourself, a career for yourself. I need skin in the game. So are we buying a property together that I am currently living in, that I am benefiting in some form or fashion, as to the loss that I'm taking about the fact that I'm here and I'm all alone? Are we engaged to be married? Do we I need some skin in the game so that I know I'm not wasting my time. And I know that this is controversial and y'all may not like it, but I'm going to say it as many times as it needs to be said until y'all believe me, that women's time is more, one of my friends told me to change the word, but I don't want to. It's more valuable. Our time biologically is more valuable. It is what it is. Our time is more valuable than men's. As a result, I am not in a position to wait as long as a man can. So if I'm in a long distance relationship, right, and the expectation is that I'm going to be committed to someone, then I'm going to need some skin in the game to know that this time and this investment of my time, which is more valuable than yours, biologically, it is a medical fact, then I'm going to need some skin in the game. Like, what are you providing to me to give me some sense of security that this is worth my time investment? Because once my eggs are gone, they're dried up, potty done. And then you philandering in your 50s having a good old time, and I'm asked out because I invested years. No, thank you. Skin in the game, okay? Let me go back to the comments. The Real Brother Love says, me and my wife started off long distance, and we accredit our success with it to having an end date. Absolutely. Like, if I know, okay, a year and a half, I could do it. It's like a bid, right? I could do a year and a half bid. I really love this person. They've really shown me that they have a vested interest in me. I can do that. But if it's like, oh, might be going 2 years, might be going 3 years, like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then 3 years later, then I'm still in the same position? Absolutely not. You need to have an end date. Trust is an important factor in a long distance relationship. Absolutely, Kim. And I didn't mention trust. You got to trust. Trust is hard when folks sleep in the same bed together. So imagine if you're halfway around the world on the other side of the country. Okay. Busy Bee says, it's possible, but I don't think long distance would work for me. And she put me in caps. 99100J says, in my experience, no, it does not work. But I guess the question is, can it work? Could it? I think so. Key Desire says, women need to understand that themselves, though. That our time is more valuable biologically. We know. Trust me. We know. I don't know if you feel like some women ignore the fact. I don't know, I don't know what that's about. But trust me, We know it. We know it, we know it, we know it. Society won't let us forget it. I don't think we have much of a choice in the matter, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but we know. All right. Someone else asked, if someone shows you signs of being controlling, should you try to make the relationship work? If someone shows you signs of being controlling, should you try to make the relationship work? So I need a little bit more context, because a lot of times when you ask questions and you start digging, you realize that people may not necessarily mean what they're saying. What does this controlling look like? Is it truly controlling? Is the person looking out for your best interest? Or are they borderline abusive and trying to treat you like if you're their kid? So this is hard for me to answer, only because obviously as a coach, I have lots of experience talking to people. And when you start to dig and ask questions and ask, what does that word mean to you? Then you start getting different definitions. So exactly what Get Fit with Tiff says, depends on I need a definition of what control is. What is this person saying to you? Is this person saying, because I've heard people use the term, they're trying to control me. And then I start asking and it's like, yeah, well, I tend to spend money willy-nilly. And so, they're always telling me that I should save. They're always telling me I shouldn't have bought that. They're always telling me I need to be more mindful of my credit. I'm like, that sounds like they're trying to help you, right? Or are we talking about someone who says you can't go out with your friends? You better not go outside. You can't wear that. Like, I need to know exactly what controlling means before I can honestly answer this question, unfortunately. So I think that there needs to be some more digging in regards to what is this control that you feel like this person is trying to have over you, and whether or not is it practical, or is it the fact that someone's really trying to be abusive in some form or fashion, okay? Then I'd be able to answer that question. So really, unfortunately, if you would like to DM me, the person who asked me, if someone shows you signs of being controlling, should you try to make the relationship work? If you could give me more insight on what this controlling looks like, I need to know what the status is in your relationship too. Because now this person said, should you try to make the relationship work? Now, again, it depends on lots of other factors too. Are you married? So if someone is telling you that they highly recommend you do A, B, and C, and you're married versus not married, that's something to take into consideration. Now, y'all might not agree with that, but I think it's common sense. I'd like to think that it's common sense that you cannot get out of a marriage as easy as you can get out of a relationship. So is it that if someone who is trying to control me were married and they're willing to work on those things and go to counseling, am I going to give up as easily? Absolutely not. A boyfriend, we've been together 3 months, like, do I really care to invest the time to find a therapist? Like, you know what I'm saying? So we need to be mindful of a lot of other factors than just this. So I can't give you a hard and fast answer. And if it's okay with you, I could say, lady, right? DM me and give me some more insight on what exactly this controlling looks like. And I think that was the last question I received through stories. So I have 14 minutes that I can stay on until I have to go. I'm going to take some questions that have been placed in the queue. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask anonymously, I am here to support you in that regard. Go ahead and drop the question right in the question queue at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen with the bubble and the question mark, and I'll go ahead and answer. Just for those who are just joining, my name is Alison from Align with Alison. I'm a dating and relationship coach. I have a bachelor's degree in education, a master's degree in counseling, a master's degree extension in mental health counseling, and I'm an internationally certified coach. I primarily work with women to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. So if you have any questions or concerns in regards to dating or relationships that you would like to ask me, you can go ahead and drop it in the bubble now. Or every Tuesday, I put in my stories an opportunity for you to ask a question. Then I go live on Wednesday and I address those questions anonymously. Welcome, Keela. All right. It's very interesting what Instagram does. Anytime you have a question that you post in your stories, it puts all of them together. So I have responses from a question I asked earlier about the movie Lean On Me. And somebody said, you smoke crack, don't you? If you know Lean On Me, that's hilarious. Okay, so let me get to the actual relationship question. This person asked, red flag if a guy texted sup like what's up, at 12 a.m. We've been talking for a while, phone, text, and date. So if you have been already in communication and you actually physically gone out on a date, I don't think that texting at 12 midnight saying sup, like what's up, is a big deal. What I would say is that if someone that you haven't been in communication with, that hasn't even invested the time, the effort, the money, the planning in going out on a date, and they're texting you at 12 a.m., then I would be concerned, but I would respond and see what they say. Maybe they can't sleep and they just want regular conversation. I'm not going to be presumptuous and say, if anyone ever texts you after 11 p.m. is because it's for a booty call, which is what I assume you're presuming here. I could be wrong, but I would not presume that, especially if we've already been talking and texting and physically going out on dates. Now, if this person pulls up at 12 midnight in my phone talking about what's up, and we haven't been communicating like that, we haven't even physically gone out yet, then my presumption is, why do you feel comfortable enough to do so? But I feel like, based on what you said in these very limited characters, that he may have just been reaching out to say hello. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily a hookup. And I would respond. If I'm up at 12, hey, what's up? How's everything? See where the conversation goes. Now, if you feel as though he's now leading to a sexual convo and you're not prepared for that, then you can simply say you're not prepared. He has one of two options. He can continue to court you and date you, or he will leave because that's all he was looking for, and good riddance. But no, I wouldn't ignore it. Now, if it's the next morning and I didn't see it, I would say, hey, just saw your text. Everything okay? Just talk. Just talk. It's really that easy. Someone else asked, do you believe in Zodiac compatibility? Do you believe in Zodiac compatibility? I do believe that there are some characteristics that seem to be consistent across signs. I do believe that. I'm a Libra. My birthday is September 27th. And so I do believe that I am like a classic Libra. A lot of my behavior and personalities seem to align with what I've read about Libras. And so I do believe that there are personality traits that align according to your zodiac sign. Now, of course, that's nature, right? Like the day that you're born and with the moon and all that kind of stuff. But then there's always nurture. And nurture, I believe, can 100% usurp nature. So if someone has been nurtured in a way that's not loving, that's not connected to being a good person, then it doesn't matter what their sign is and what the books say. If they're an ass, right? Or the reverse. There's some people whose signs say that they tend to have a certain behavior, but if they have been nurtured in a way that's against that behavior, and they're both of their parents or whoever's raised them teaches them the opposite, then they will do the opposite. So I think it's a delicate balance, but I would not dismiss, nor would I date someone exclusively because it is zodiac. That's ridiculous, I think. Call Libra gang, gang, gang. And I think everything else had to do with my other story. Free Mr. Clark. Free Mr. Clark. All right. So on that note, if there are no more questions, there's just something that I really want to quickly say. And I talked about it a little bit on the top, right? I actually was going to do a series about manifestation, which I am still going to do. But I decided that I was going to put that to the back burner a little bit because there's been a lot of talks in regards to accountability and lack thereof, right? Especially in relationships, especially in the relationship industry, in the relationship space. I think that it is imperative, as I just preached about 20 minutes ago, that we are reminded that we have control over our lives. We have the control. God, if you believe in God, gave us free will. Now, I'm not talking about like childhood traumas. I'm not talking about if you've been through something where someone literally forced you to do something, right? I'm not talking about those kind of traumatic things. I'm talking about everyday decisions. The everyday decisions that are presented in front of us, some of those choices might stink, but you always have a choice. Always. You choose who you follow. You choose what information you ingest. You choose your partners. You choose when to leave them. You choose when to date, what not to date, who not to date, right? You make every choice. You choose what to wear, how to do your hair, where to work, where to go to school. You have a choice in the matter. So instead of us doing a blame game against everyone else, as we have witnessed, of chastising others, judging others, either privately or publicly, we need to be reminded that it starts with self-reflection. How could any human being judge others if they haven't gone through any level of self-reflection to correct their own BS? Until you have corrected your own BS, you are not in a position to judge anyone else. So let the last couple of days be a reminder to you that please do not throw stones, especially when you live in a glass house. You are judgmental, saying that this guy has to have X amount of money and you dead broke. What sense does that make? How are you any different from the other people that we've been talking about for the last few days who are saying one thing and doing something else? You saying that you want a woman with a popping physique and your physique is not popping. We have to be mindful. If we don't have it, how are we in a position to ask it of someone else? And we're also not going to vilify an entire industry. That's what we're not going to do, right? Because I'm sure that you've had a bad haircut and you never said, I'm never going to go to a barber again. I'm sure that you've had a bad experience in school. You didn't say, I'm going to drop out of school forever because one teacher wasn't asked to me. So what we're not going to do is we're not going to say, oh, this is why you shouldn't listen to relationship experts. This is why you shouldn't listen to relationship gurus. Let's be practical. There are people who perform poorly in every industry, and we don't dismiss that entire industry. So again, what we're doing is instead of pointing and blaming, and saying, this is why you shouldn't, because look at so-and-so, you need to be worried about yourself. Mind your own damn business. Worry about you. Look at the mistakes that you've made. Because just as long as we're condemning somebody else for the errors that they're making and the judgments they're making of others, yet we don't have our own stuff together, just like he didn't. We're making judgments of others, but we're doing the same dang thing. It always starts with self-reflection. If you've been following me at all, or you've watched my training, or if you watch any of my live streams, you know this is what I talk about all day, every day is self-reflection. Lauren said it. How you going to win if you ain't right within? How you going to win if you ain't right within? You cannot attract the mate that you want. You can't attract the job you want. You can't attract the friendships that you want as long as you're a shitty person who's undesirable. So please be mindful that we're not passing judgment on others. Yes, Tiff, the SSS approach. That is the approach that I take with my clients. Number 1, self-reflection. In the 8-week coaching program that I have, 4 out of 8 of those weeks is about you. 4 out of 8 of the weeks that I work with people to help them find a mate, half the time is about you. If you don't have your stuff together, how can you attract the right mate? Why would he or she want to even look your way? Why? Why would they? We complain about this person's not good enough and there's no good people out there and the dating pool is tough. It is tough. It's tough. But you know why it's tough? Because quality people are getting snatched up like this. And you ain't getting snatched up. So there's something that you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that you're a terrible human being, right? Because I had the same problems. I share my entire story via email to all of my subscribers, right? If you want to join my subscription, all you got to do is go to my website, alignwithalison.com, and you can be a subscriber or download anything that I have or watch anything that I have in my bio, and you would be on my list. I tell my whole story, and I tell a part of my story on live stream all the time, and I just put up a post telling a part of my story. I am transparent. I was not perfect, and I'm still not perfect. However, how are you going to get the results that you want if you do not institute a change? And then you want to blame everybody else. Oh, see, it's the relationship gurus that is their fault because they put these unrealistic ideologies out there. Oh, you see, it's the dating apps because every time you meet somebody in a dating app, they're not who they say they are. When you met Johnny down the block, he wasn't who he said he was either. He wasn't who he said he was. And when you met Tanya at the gym, she wasn't who she said she was either. People lie. They lie in real life and they lie in apps. So instead of blaming everyone else for when things go wrong, you have to take accountability and then take action. SSS approach. That is my approach. That's what I do with my clients. Self-reflection. Where did you go wrong? What part of your personality sucks? What part of you is undesirable that people would not want to be around? Right? We got to figure that out. Then we need to start changing those behaviors so that you can be more desirable. I'm not talking about externally. I'm talking about internally. Sometimes it's externally too. But I'm talking about internally, right? For the most part. You need to step up to become a better version of yourself, SS. And then the last one is to sit back. Open up your mind and believe that love can enter back into your life. Open up your heart and accept love back into your life. As long as you don't believe it can happen, it will not happen. As long as you believe that N words ain't ish and B words ain't ish, that's what they are. Whatever you believe to be true is what it is. And you are going to continue to come across those types of people, or you're going to close yourself off 100% because you believe that N words ain't this and B's ain't that. So that's what you're going to come across. Think about a yellow car. Put a yellow car in your mind. I bet you when you leave the house today, you're going to find a yellow car, right? We've seen this trick before. Whatever you input into you, like a computer, is what will come out. I don't know what that's called. I learned it in computer class, like input, exput, whatever. You know what I'm talking about, like the table, right? So whatever you put in you is what's going to come back out. This is like basic rules of the universe. You eat a whole bunch of sugars and fats, then it's going to come out of you. Eat a whole bunch of curry, it comes out your pores, right? Like, we know this. What you put in, when it comes to food, it comes out. So what energy you put in comes out. Garbage in, garbage out. Thank you, Miss Sika. This is a part of the laws of attraction. Yes, real life. This is a part of the laws of the universe. What you put out is what you get back. The effort you put out is what you get back, right? How judgy you are of others, that judgment will come back. How hard you are on others, but you're not hard on yourself, will come back. So on that note, it is now 1 minute until I have to go, so I might as well wrap up right now. I want to thank all of you for joining my live stream. If you think that this was valuable and you would like to share it with someone, I would greatly appreciate that. Please go ahead and share this live stream with anyone who you think could benefit or would be interested. Please share my page with anyone who you think would be interested. Let's start promoting the people online that we know have our best interest at heart, that aren't pandering to men or pandering to women, but are pandering for couples and healthiness, especially in our communities. You guys are all amazing. I love you. Adios, amigos. Have a good day.